Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This episode is brought to you by Visit Williamsburg. In Williamsburg, Virginia, there's never too much of a good thing. Whether you're a foodie, a golfer, a history buff, a shopaholic, an outdoor enthusiast, or a thrill seeker, you'll find what you came for here and more. So ask yourself, what is it you want? Discover Williamsburg and plan your trip at visitwilliamsburg.com.
That's how we started the show. You just going.
You should try
all this.
Have y'all
stays
thought
in.
about like Steve Martin too? He's from Waco.
Yeah, Steve Martin's a good one. Yeah, we talked about him. Hey, we're doing a show here. It is called Jennifer Love Hewitt. Please be on our show. The whole idea behind this show is we need to get Jennifer Love Hewitt to call into our show.
Oh, is that what we
That's
do
what it
here?
is, Alison. I'm Mike. This is Alison. We got a guest today, Rusty.
Rusty.
Rusty and I do another podcast, BWAA, King of the Hill Rewatch podcast.
This one's definitely gonna.
Allison hates that show.
Hate it.
Yeah,
Hate
she
it.
absolutely hates it. But that's okay. I mean, it's not everybody's bag, you know?
It's okay. I love the people involved in the podcast.
Well, we love you too,
you know.
Allison.
Yeah, we love you too, Alison.
Yeah, even though you drink that dirty water.
Dirty-
Allison drinks that
It's not dirty
Oh,
water.
the spicy water.
fizzy water.
Yeah, spicy water. I'm not a fan of spicy water.
It
I like
tastes
my water.
It tastes like
non-moving.
television static.
Yeah. It tastes like bad television.
This turned into a bantering on me.
And no, it's not you. It's the spicy water. Okay, so again, Jennifer Love Hewitt, please be on our show. And the way you can contact us is 254-300-7982. We are located at 1129 Webster if you want to just drop by, Jennifer Love Hewitt. And that's the point of this show.
Do you think she still has relatives in town?
I think she does, absolutely, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
You think she like pops up into town sometimes?
Yeah, like a ghost. And speaking of ghosts, we have started chronicling the television series Ghost Whisperer.
I'm sorry.
It was on, no, it's great.
Oh, it's a great show?
It was on CBS.
Okay.
It ran for years.
It did. It ran for a while.
And
It's like 5 or 6 years.
I think it's 5 or 6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
5 seasons.
It ran as long as it could run.
It ran as long as the ghost would allow it. We are currently on season 1, episode 3.
Oh, wow.
Right? This episode, what's the name of this episode, Allison? You have it all pulled up.
I believe it's Ghost Interrupted.
Ghost Interrupted, and a play on the movie Girl Interrupted. Yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want her on the show. We want Jennifer Love Hewitt on the show.
Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt is from our local area. And the way that Jennifer Love Hewitt could get in contact with us is 254-300-7982, or she could just drop by at 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas. Or she could contact us at info@roguemedianetwork.com. So Jennifer Love Hewitt, please be on our show. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about episode 3, Ghost Interrupted.
Boy, oh boy.
So Allison, do you have memories of this specific episode? You said you had a lot.
I mean, we started the show when I was almost done with season 5. So
Okay.
yes.
What is that? I don't understand the
Because-
correlation.
Because it was like I was so close to finishing. and
Oh, did you have to restart?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was so
I had
sad.
never. So Rusty, just to kind of bring you up to date, I have never seen the show.
I have.
You have? You watched it?
Not like in it with any type of continuity or anything,
Right.
but I know that it was a show about a girl who dies and then she's a ghost.
Nope.
No?
She didn't die.
Okay, well,
Well, I don't know. I'm only on episode 3. She may die, like we all do at some point. Shuffle off our mortal coil.
Boy, oh boy.
But
well, either way, she talks to ghosts.
she talks to ghosts.
She whispers to ghosts.
Right, she whispers to. She's not allowed to yell at them. She can only whisper to them.
She was in Bruce Willis' school of ghost whispering.
That's right. She can see dead people.
And then she realized that she was
So
the ghost.
one of my issues with this show, and there's not many because it's a good show.
Okay.
But we don't really know where our powers come from. It's just like,
You know what my issue with the
by
show
way, you
is?
can do it.
Is that Jennifer Love Hewitt hasn't showed up.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wish Jennifer Love Hewitt would call us at 254-300-7982 or drop by at 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or she could contact us via an email at info@roguemedianetwork.com. Allison, you were going to say?
I told you you weren't gonna be the biggest fan of the show.
No, I'm not saying that. I think the show is fine.
It's very chick flick.
It is a
It's
little
very
chick
much-
flicky. Yeah.
Charmed, Gilmore Girls.
Charmed, Gilmore Girls.
They could all be in the same block.
They could be in the
on
same
primetime
universe,
TV.
honestly.
Yeah.
Between Gilmore Girls and this show, their town kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
Very New England.
Their town is called a village.
Is it like a
and
New
it's
England town or
I
something
think,
like a-
I don't know where it's located.
It's Grandview.
Right, but I'm
But
saying
it's like a village. It
But I'm
feels
saying
like
it
a
is a
village.
village, like
Yeah.
because there's the village coffee place and there's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
village
yeah, yeah.
fireplace.
The town square, man, get it.
Well, seriously, the coffee place is called like Village Java.
Yeah.
We
or
call them
something.
like
Yeah.
towns, like it'd be like a small town, away from us. But like I think in like New England they call them villages still.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this
Sleepy New England
one
town.
starts in the antique store.
Yes.
And Natalie comes in and steals a letter opener.
Yes. They're.
And then we find out Natalie's nuts.
It's not that she's nuts.
She kind of is, though.
She's kind of isn't though.
Pecan or walnuts.
Yeah,
So,
she's
it's just-
more of a filbert.
Oh, a filberts.
That's a much funnier nut.
It is.
So,
Why?
well, what I'm saying is, it starts and she kind of gets taken off because she's stolen a letter opener from the antique store. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens to her after she steals the letter opener?
Nothing really. I mean, the guy that works at the place goes over and just pulls her aside,
You're right.
and then
Where does she end up, Allison? She ends up at the Green Grove Clinic
yeah, it's basically
for the
like
criminally insane.
It's not the it's basically just like a mental institution.
Right.
So
She has committed a crime, though, correct?
no,
She stole a letter opener.
but
That's
don't
a
know
crime,
that
right?
That's a
until
crime.
Later.
They don't know letter
Well, it's still
later.
a crime whether they knew about it or
That's
not.
what I'm
though,
saying.
right?
I mean-
So it really kind of is a place
Yeah.
for the criminally insane.
It's only a crime if you get caught, right?
I guess.
So we are now going to refer to Green Grove Clinic as the clinic for the criminally insane.
So dumb.
So it's the next thing we see after the whole what's her name, Melinda?
Yes, it's basically the intro
I'm
of the
Melinda
show.
and I can talk to ghosts because my grandma said I could. That kind of thing, right?
She
That's
was
what it
Yeah.
starts.
born with the gift, man.
Right. But we see her coming through the town square, and she's talking to herself. The guy at the fire station, who they later call Fireboy, he sees her over there, and she's just like yammering to this ghost, right?
Yes.
And I would imagine this happens a lot to Melinda.
But this is also after she finds out who the ghost is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she
So
already knows that it's her
af-
sister.
Yes, after the
It's Natalie's sister, and her name is Zoe,
yes.
right?
So after the letter opener, Melinda goes to the institution, whatever, talks
For the
to her.
criminally insane.
Sure, whatever. Talks to her, and then that's where the sister finds out that she can see Zoe.
Right.
So
Who is not criminally insane.
so now
She
that
just did.
so is this just like her coming into her powers, like, or we've
No,
like,
she's already got her powers.
I see,
And
you've already
that
seen
was
it,
one of
okay.
my issues with the way that this show started from
it doesn't
like
tell
episode
you
1.
There's like no
there's no
rhyme or reason.
There's
She
no
just
real
talks to
origin
ghosts.
story. You know, there's not like she didn't get bit by a spider
It's a
or
real
a ghost.
Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore kind of thing going on.
If you told me she got bit by a ghost and that's why she could see ghosts, I think that would be the best origin story ever.
She caught the boo. Yeah.
She got the boo because she got bit.
A boo-boo, if you will.
She got a
There you go.
boo-boo.
There
That's
you go.
fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, she's crazy in the park is the note I have written down here. And we find out that the girl stole a letter opener. She
A letter opener, for those of you who don't know, is a knife-like object
It
used
is
to open
pointy.
letters in times of yore.
right, and it's what the criminally insane often use to stab you in the back of the head.
So she was trying to use it to open the window.
Oh, that's right.
That too, but also I think it was a weapon in a board game too. Colonel Mustard with a letter opener
Colonel
in the
Mustard
conservatory.
with a letter opener in the
Yeah.
town square
Yeah, there you go.
at the criminally
I
insane
forgot
clinic.
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Clue.
that.
So
Yeah.
she meets Will over at the fire station where Fireboy works, and
You
she
mean her husband?
no. The guy that they send on a date with her best friend, they call him Fireboy at one point in this show.
Fireboy. Was he a fireman?
I made it. Yes, he's a
Yes.
fireman, but they call him Fireboy at one time.
Well, wouldn't he
which
be
is
water boy? A fireman.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Use water, not fire. So why do we call him fireman? We should call him waterman.
I think it's a very derogatory term to call a guy who you're trying to set up
know.
with your best friend. Call him Fireboy.
I'm just saying I never agreed with calling him fireman to begin with.
I
They're
never agreed with him
watermen.
calling him Fireboy.
They're watermen.
But she explains the fact that she's nuts in the square talking to the air by the fact that she was on her cell phone.
Did she have a cell phone?
I
No.
never saw one.
Do
No.
cell phones not exist in this
Never saw
time
one.
frame?
When was
like
this?
one
This
of
was
those-
90s, right?
Oh, this is pre-phones.
This is early. I think the
Early
year
2000s?
said
Well,
2005 to
oh,
Oh
2010.
okay.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
it was still like that's still pre-smartphone.
Is that when
But
the
it's
cell phones
flip
got real
phone.
small?
Oh yeah, they had this
They got
really
real
weird
tiny
one that
and
was
then they
like
got
a
real big.
lipstick. They had one that was literally like a
Yeah.
little lipstick container. It literally
Yeah.
was
Maybe she
really
had.
thin and
To-
Maybe-
small.
if you look at later episodes, she has a flip phone.
Oh, does she?
Yes. So like, there's no way
She
that
got a
she
razor.
I think this is before like the time when everyone had phone, when they were starting to slowly be in everybody's hands. The slow ruin of civilization.
Sure. So she meets Will there, and she says she's going to have to put off lunch because something has come up, and I feel really bad for Will because this happens to him a lot, and we're only in episode 3. Like Will is her husband, and she's constantly
Jim?
Is it Jim? I thought it was
Jim.
Will.
Jim's
Oh,
definitely.
Fireboy is Will.
Fireboy's Will.
Oh,
Jim
okay,
is
sorry.
her husband.
Okay, so I feel bad for Jim because she's constantly putting Jim off. Like remember he was putting up a lamp. His mom was coming to town. He wanted to go to dinner. I mean,
She had to fix the house in the middle of a thunderstorm.
that's what I'm saying. I
Poor
mean,
Jim.
and poor Jim. Jim's the guy that you ought to feel bad for here, not JLH. Anyway, she figures out that there is a haunted dead twin. That's my
Haunted
note.
dead-
A haunted dead
A
twin.
haunted dead twin. That's what I wrote
Sounds
down.
like Elvis's womb mate.
I did. Hey, I watched part of that movie last night.
He did.
Elvis.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
a weird movie. Like it's made like a music video.
He was
or something.
Elvis Aaron, and his
Oh, no.
twin was Jesse Garrett.
Yeah. And I'm a huge Elvis fan. I have like the.
Oh, you're a big Elvis fan. I didn't know that.
I went to Graceland and I have.
Hey, man, you would love my record collection. And I have literally a first edition Elvis LPs.
I've got some bootlegs that came
bootlegs.
from Taiwan that are on like this clear vinyl that
Yeah.
are different colors and stuff.
My
Yeah.
mom was such a super fan of Elvis that I literally thought he was my uncle my entire life as a child until I realized that he was just a world famous singer.
Welcome to Taking Care of Business, our Elvis podcast.
That's all right, Mama.
So
Yeah.
we are at a
Wow.
yeah, that took a whole turn. We're at a haunted dead twin.
okay.
So tell me what you know about this haunted dead twin, Allison.
What don't I know about this haunted dead?
She's haunted. She's dead.
What's her social?
She's a twin, right?
Exactly.
So
She did.
She did. So we here my next note, and this is chronological, right? So
Okay.
as I'm watching the episode, I'm taking these notes, and you can tell. I mean, I'm writing feverishly.
It's
here.
chronically logical.
It's
I got you.
chronically logical. This was at about 6 a.m. this morning. So next note I have is crazy house with bunch of crazy ghosts. So she goes to Green Grove.
Yes.
Jim, not Will, drives her to the Center for the Criminally Insane. And she goes in there and she sees a bunch of crazy ghosts. You know, at first, I thought they were just letting crazy people walk around in there. You know, because there's the one dude who's in like a wife beater just going, ah! You know, freaking out over in the corner. And she has to walk around him. And I thought, man, why don't they just let the crazy people walk around? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Good input.
So you described everything. I don't know what you
But she gets a flashback while she's in the crazy house, right?
She sure does.
She does. And it's with her grandma in a wheelchair. When she sees someone in a wheelchair, she flashes back to her grandma in a wheelchair. And, you know, Jennifer Love Hewitt, I love you, but just putting braces in your mouth doesn't make you look younger. She looks like it's very uncomfortable.
I don't like how they do this flashback just because any flashback they ever do, it's overexposed.
Oh, yeah.
Highly
Well, that's to show
overexposed.
you that it's a flashback, right?
It's just, it's gross.
But
you can tell.
Is this it? Okay, so this woman that plays her grandmother, I've seen her in like a billion movies, right? She's been in a ton of stuff. Is it the same woman that played her grandmother in the go up to the casket and talk to the guy?
Yes.
The first one? I think it's a different woman.
I think it's somebody else. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think it's a different woman that plays the grandma. We need a fact checker. So we learn that she was trying to pry the window open with the letter opener. I have that written down. And then we also learn about the grandmother and how she was in a hospital and stuff, and she was talking to her grandmother about, you know, I hate this power, I don't, you know, all this kind of stuff, and her grandmother was like, oh, it's a blessing, or whatever she said. And so we see that whole interaction with what we learn later is the last part of her grandmother's life.
Yes.
Right.
And what, I don't know if you caught on, but it's the same building.
Is it the same building?
It's basically like that building was a nursing home.
Oh.
And so that's why she's getting those flashbacks, because it's the same building. So they just basically.
Well, then that doesn't make sense why there's so many crazy ghosts in there. Because, like, the crazy ghost she runs into to begin with, he's not old.
No. But I mean,
he looks like a roadie, like he's a Metallica roadie or something, and something flipped his brain.
I mean, maybe he died there.
Well, he obviously died. I mean, just saying.
Well, I mean, like there, physically there. Like.
You think Metallica was putting on a concert there at the old folks' home and he tripped over a wire or something?
Master of Puppets.
Yeah,
maybe he was old, and that's when they were doing the whole switch.
But no. Okay, I take umbrage with that comment, and it's because they always look the way the ghosts appear the way they die. Because I do have a note here that her grandmother, who's dead at one point in this episode, is still in her friggin' house coat. I mean, you would think a ghost would at least get to dress nice or something, right? But no, you're in whatever you died in. So
according to the show, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So good luck, guys who die in your tidy whities in the middle of the night. That's what you're stuck with for the rest of eternity. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so we see that the whole goal of this is that the sister needs to apologize to the other one and to kind of let her go, right? But I also wrote down, sister is a bitch, is what I wrote down here, because she is mean.
The
dead one, yeah,
yes,
the dead one's mean.
She's that one of those dark souls. Like, you kind of realize throughout the episode that she's one of those darker souls. And where the other twin, the living twin, is.
Well, the living twin is seems a lot nicer,
yes,
but she's nuts. But she finds out that JLH can see ghosts. She tells her that she can feel her being with her, right?
Yes.
And she can tell that the ghost is mad, right? She can tell that her dead twin is mad, right? and then we get this tale of when the dead twin died. So they talk about how they were out at the cabin. I think it was her dad's cabin, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wrote down snuck out at cabin. Tom is a scuzzball. And that's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because so her and her sister, the twins, went out to the cabin. They were drinking and swimming. They had this thing where there's a buoy out in the middle of the lake at the cabin. And what they tried to do every time, and this is the twins, when they weren't drunk, they would swim out and try to touch the buoy 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And they never made it, right? And so this time, dead twin Zoe got super drunk and went for a swim, tried to reach the buoy, and drowned. So that's how dead twin became dead twin.
Yeah.
Right?
This is horrible that we're referring to them as dead twin.
That sounds like some like
it's dead twin and crazy
Spiegelville
twin
kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote down a quote here from dead twin. She goes, "I just didn't make it." So that's the quote. Yeah, I thought that was funny. And then the next quote is this is from Zoe, the dead twin. And this is when she's explaining what happened to JLH here. She's saying, as long as she's in the So this is not me making these crazy slurs, okay? I don't want you thinking I'm talking about crazy people as being crazy, and that's not a slur here, because this is a direct quote from the TV show. Okay?
Yes.
This is the dead twin talking about her dying and crossing over and all this stuff, and she literally says, as long as she's in the nut house, I'm not crossing my legs, let alone crossing over. I didn't come up with that, right? I didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
That is a direct quote.
CBS writers.
Some writer in Hollywood
Yeah.
sat down and wrote, as long as she's in the nut house, I'm not crossing my legs, let alone crossing over. That's a good one. All right, we're back, and I would just like to remind JLH that she can get a hold of us at 254-300-7982, or she can drop by the studio at 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas, or she can contact us via email at info@roguemedianetwork.com. JLH, please be on our show. So this is also the time that we find out that Dead Mad Twin... she slept with Scuzzball Tom, the boyfriend. And so this is why she got so drunk. This is why she swam out. This is why she died. All of this is like connected, right? And so the JLH convinces the boyfriend, because she's thinking, maybe if she fixes something with the boyfriend, maybe then the dead twin will cross over. So she goes and convinces Tom the Scuzzball, who is a tennis teacher. He teaches tennis for a living, I guess. What do you call that? Tennis
A
expert?
tennis coach.
Tennis coach.
Crazy how
Sure.
that works.
I wonder
He
if there's
coaches
like a
tennis. He's a
specific
tennis
word
coach.
for that. You know how like you have like an arborist,
tenniseer.
like an arborist is somebody who handles
Sure.
trees. A florist, somebody handles flowers. I wonder if there's a word for that for tennis.
Ball smacker.
A golden retriever.
Golden retriever. This one is just a scuzzball. So
Lord.
she goes...
I see where ball goes.
Yeah. It goes off the rails quick.
Rails.
But she goes and talks to Tom at his tennis establishment.
His shop. I don't know if it's a club or
It
if
is a
it's-
club, because I noticed that later and I wrote down the name of it, but I can't find it.
It looks like it's a tennis club. But
It is a tennis club. Yeah, it feels like
What is a tennis club? Like a club
Well,
made of green rubber balls.
It's not. That's not. No, it feels like Nine Rivers. It feels like
I got you. It's
like
kinda
a
like a Nine
social
Rivers.
club. Yeah,
I
that
got
kind
you.
of thing. But it has tennis courts and all that stuff. Like I'm sure it has a big bar, tennis clubs, lots of scuzzballs besides Tom, guys that are in captains of industry, things like that.
Oh, dumb.
So she goes and talks to Tom, and she says, Tom, listen, you got to come and talk to Natalie, and maybe if you patch things up there, then Dead Zoe will forgive him and cross over, because she doesn't really know what's going to cause the crossover.
Yeah.
JLH just knows that she has to fix whatever that thing is for these dead people so that they can finally walk into the light. Right.
Yeah.
So she brings in Tom the Scuzzball, and he talks with Natalie in the Center for the Criminally Insane, and he hasn't come to see her all this time she's been in the hospital, and she's a little pissed about that, right? She's miffed because Tom told her that they would always be together no matter what. And he's like, well, a lot of stuff happened. So that's like his argument. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You're in the nut house. So
Very much beating around the bush.
he is. And speaking of beating around the bush, she gets up and gets pissed and tries to beat him. Like she comes after him.
Yes, and what
Luckily, there's
we
orderlies
realized, though-
there.
Yes, and then also
Stop.
what we realize, it's her feeding off of her dead twin sister's energy.
What?
So it's the living. It's
Oh,
the
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Crazy twin.
Yeah.
is
Nutball
feeding-
twin.
Is feeding off of dead twins' energy. So it's really dead twins' like anger
Yeah.
coming through crazy twin.
Right, because she can feel it, and she
Yes.
she talks about being able to feel what she feels and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We then kind of transition to JLH being in a meeting with crazy and dead twins' mom and dad, who we find out later are ex, so they're divorced.
Yes.
But they're all in a meeting with the doctor, the unnamed doctor, at the criminally insane hospital, and she says, "Listen, Melinda, JLH, what's the deal? Why are you coming to see this girl? You didn't even know her a week ago." And the mom, who she's something else. The mom is like, "Why are you here? You need to get out of here. We don't like you," or whatever. And the dad's more like, "Well, wait a minute. She maybe is helping her."
He sees the good in what
Yeah.
JLH is doing, and then the mom's like, "No."
But then he kind of goes along with it because he, I guess, doesn't want to cause any problems. Plus, he's real worried about his daughter, his one living daughter. So anyway, they finally end up telling JLH she can't come see Natalie anymore. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
So sad.
Good input.
Well, I don't know how much input you want to do when you're explaining everything. So it's
so this is one of the funnier ones that I found it funny when it came up. But anyway, so they tell JLH she can't come see her anymore. That's over with. And then we see the dad get into his car late at night, and crazy dead twin Zoe shows up and leaves him a message inside his car, like fogs it up and says, "I'm here," or whatever, right?
Yep, sure does.
And so that leads to JLH talking to the dad, because the dad
shows up at the
antique store, right? And he steals a letter opener. No, he doesn't. But it would be fun if he's like, "I'm stealing this." But he shows up and he goes, "What's the deal? I'm sorry she was so mean to you," talking about his ex. And then she finally says, "Well, I can see your dead daughter," right? Mm-hmm. He's like, "Nah, you can't." And then she tells him about what she's saying.
Some of the stuff that like only they would know.
And here's the part that I thought was slightly funny.
What's that?
And so the dead daughter says she's talking to the dad, right, through Melinda. And she says, "You never could see me. I wasn't ever as good." And one of the examples she gives as not being as good as Natalie is she says, I couldn't spell as well. She couldn't spell as well? What?
Hey, man, English is hard, okay?
I couldn't spell as well. So she's like, that's one of the reasons her dad hates her. She couldn't spell as well. Anyway, I thought that was hilarious. That's when we get the flashback with JLH. She's back at the hospital. She's sitting out in the waiting room because she's trying to get in and talk to Natalie again. And she sits down and she sees, or this is the flashback. She's in the hospital waiting for Natalie, but she sees a flashback of her grandmother, right? When her grandmother was in the old folks home or whatever it was before it was the hospital for the criminally insane. And she sees an orderly, and this confused me, okay? She sees an orderly talking to a nurse who works there. And then there's a guy that sits down in the tackiest suit I've ever seen and lights up a cigar right in the middle of the waiting room. Grandma comes in after JLH is told that her grandmother had a rough night last night. Grandma comes in and she goes, "Oh, Grandma, good to see you." And she's like, "Oh, I feel better." She says, "I had a really good sleep," or whatever it was, right, to get better. But she asked, who in this waiting room is a ghost? Is this guy? Because you assume the guy who lit up a cigar in the middle of the thing is a ghost. And she goes, "Oh, no, it's that guy over there, the orderly." And so what I didn't understand is she says something about the orderly talking to the nurse. But that can't be a thing, right? These ghost rules are really confusing me. You know, you got ghosts getting in cars, traveling places. You got ghosts at railroad tracks. You got ghosts riding on windows. You got ghosts biting people and giving them special powers.
Boo-boos.
I mean, I don't understand these rules. But anyway, Grandma says, "Oh, no, I feel better today." And then she points out which ones are ghosts. And then JLH figures out that Grandma feels better because she died last night. So she's already passed, you know. So Grandma, and this is again where we find out that whatever you die in is what you're going to be stuck in. So Grandma's wearing a house coat for the rest of eternity. I just wrote down Grandma is dead with exclamation marks. You know, that's the big reveal here. So we see that Natalie now is going to write an apology letter to Tom, which I didn't really understand. But
she freaked out.
Oh, because she went
crazy.
after him.
Yeah, she went crazy on him.
So she's afraid that he won't be there when she gets out. And JLH is like, "Yeah, no duh. He's not going to be there for you. He's a jerk. You know, he's a scuzzball." So, and then that's when they realize that Zoe needs forgiveness to move on. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good time. And then
I love that you're like, she needs forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what else you want me to do, dude?
I don't know. Explain the episode to us. I don't know.
That's what you're doing.
Okay. Hey, by the way, JLH, you could contact us at 254-300-7982, or you can come by the studio at 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas, or you can contact us via email, info@roguemedianetwork.com. JLH, please be on our show. So, she's going to write this letter, but then we find out that they're fixing to transfer her to the frickin' state hospital, which the state hospital obviously is a really bad place because JLH meets an orderly who goes, "Yeah, she's not going to make it there."
But this is also all coming from the mom, though.
But again,
the psycho mom is trying to transfer her to prevent JLH from visiting the daughter.
Right. I get it. But what I'm saying is if an orderly is now telling you, "Oh yeah, that chick's not going to make it there," what is this state hospital's problem? What is the deal there? It's so bad that you are breaking like what is it, FERPA rules or whatever, the you can't give out people's medical stuff. And Mason's got an input for us. HIPAA, thank you. It's HIPAA and FERPA. I always get those two mixed up. He's breaking HIPAA rules by saying, "Yeah, she's gonna die at that place" or whatever, which I thought was a little rude. But anyway, you got any thoughts on the guy saying she's gonna die?
But she don't. She living. She not.
That's
dead.
true. She don't.
She
All
don't.
So I just wrote down here, Mom is a bitch.
I mean, that's all she's ever done this whole episode.
She really is a turd. So now we find out that husband and JLH are setting up the friend, and forgive me, I forget the friend's name. Andrea. She's setting up Andrea, and this is when they call her the guy Fireboy. They show up for the date, and they're going to apparently an outside pasta restaurant or something. I don't know. They never say the name of the restaurant, but it's outside. They have
Abracapasta.
Abracapasta. And they show up and they're going to do this. And then in the middle of it, here comes Crazy Dead Twin whispering in Magdalene's ear, or what's her name? Magdalene? Melinda? JLH. She whispers in her ear and says, "Oh, you got to do something," or whatever. And the husband, I wrote down here, husband is very understanding, because he always is. And like, he's going to drive her to wherever they need to go.
He's just, I can't ever tell if he's just being taken advantage of, or
I think he is.
Or if he's just very
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole thing, it's like he's basically a pushover.
He is kind of a pushover. JLH all the time is like, and I forgot we had a guest here. The JLH always tells her husband she's got to go take care of these ghosts, and he's like, "Okay, great, let's go."
Oh, he's up for it.
Yeah, he seems to be up for it all the time.
Middle of the night, she wakes up screaming. He goes, "Another one?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's just like interested. He's like, "Ooh, let me know what's going on. I want to know."
Well, he kind of is. He kind of is. We thought he was going to die in the first episode.
You thought he was going to die.
Well, you'd already seen it. But it was a big thunderstorm, and he's out fixing the freaking gutters in the middle of a lightning storm.
Oh, he sounds like a wild dude.
And so I thought, well, shit, he's going to die, and then she's going to have to talk to him as dead husband, right? But that didn't happen. Instead, he just goes, "Hey, I'm just out here fixing the gutters," or whatever. He just like waves at her through the window. But anyway, let's get back to this one.
I was going to give spoilers, but if I forgot.
Oh, please don't.
I was like, I got to wait.
Please don't. I don't need them. So Fireboy and Andrea are at their date. Ghost comes and whispers in her ear, which is a reverse on the name of the show.
It is Ghost Whisperer, so the ghosts do have to whisper.
But this would be Whisper Ghost. So anyway, this is where I wrote down flashback to Grandma always in house coat. And we hear the talk that she's having with her grandmother after her grandmother's dead. And the quote I wrote down is, and this is from JLH, she says to Grandma, "I don't feel special. I just feel weird." So anyway, they go to the date. Fireboy is late. Boyfriend completely understands. Our husband completely understands. But anyway, they go on the date. They leave the two of them together. This turns out to be not a great date for Andrea. Nope. Because Fireboy is still stuck on his ex. He gets a call from his ex in the middle of the date.
Waterman
gets a call from the ex in the middle of the date, and he's like, "I left the key on top of the refrigerator," or whatever he said.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then he just hangs up on her, and she's like, "Dude, you're not over your ex. Whenever you get over her, let me know." And so poor Andrea is still single. Yep, nothing's gonna happen there. We then go to the tennis club. Oh, here, I wrote it down. Oh no, I didn't. Never mind. I thought I wrote down the name of the tennis club. And I have skipped ahead, I'm sorry, because there is a quote I need to get to here in a second. But we do see the boyfriend, he's kissing one of the tennis instructees as they're leaving. So you know he's not going to be there for weirdo letter opener whenever she gets out of the hospital for the criminally insane. And so this is another point. Another big leap we have to make here. Mm-hmm. He gets in his car, and crazy letter opener is there, pretending to be her dead twin, and she got a big rock, and she starts beating on his car with it. How the hell did she get out of the house for the criminally insane? That's never explained.
But I don't know, because I mean, the first time she gets into,
She shows up with a big rock.
She probably left the front door. They probably left it open.
Well, I mean, like
this is a terrible hospital. I'm
Yeah.
just
Like-
saying, this is rough.
when she got into Melinda's shop, it was kind of like a field trip kind of thing. Like they were all on
A ghost
the bus.
field trip.
No, the
Oh, you're talking about the original one.
the living one.
Natalie.
Yes.
Yeah, not Zoe.
Yes.
Okay, but again, she's been arrested. She's been put in the house for the criminally insane.
She wasn't arrested.
She then attacked boyfriend. She's going to be transferred to the state hospital. They've been told that she can't have visitors, and now she just shows up outside this dude's car with a rock in her hand, and then she steals his friggin' car.
But it's because she finds out with the whole thing.
I get it.
With the whole
I get it.
sister.
But when you find out secrets, they don't just let you out. You're like, oh shit, mom was a big drinker. I gotta go, or what? I mean, that's not the way things work. So anyway, she beats on his car with a rock a little bit, and then he jumps out. She gets in his car, and we find out that she is driving to the lake. Mm-hmm. So we think that she's going to kill herself. Is basically what it is, because dead sister is in the passenger seat again with the ghosts in the car, and I just wrote down. She's Zoe, big rock, steals car with a bunch of exclamation marks. How did she get out with a question mark? And then going to lake, comma, ghost worried. And it's because her sister is in the passenger seat and she's really worried that something's going to happen. Right. And then I wrote down again with ghosts in the car. So this is when dead ghost Zoe shows up to the date and whispers, in
Melinda's ear.
JLH's ear. And I wrote down another quote from the show.
What we got? Something wild?
This is from Zoe, the dead one. She's worried about Natalie, who we think is going to go drive herself into the lake. She says, Melinda, yo, I need your help.
Yo.
The ghost says, yo.
Hey, yo.
She goes, Melinda, yo, I need your help. It's so out of place. I don't understand how ghosts say yo. I guess if you're a 90s rapper ghost, there's a lot of yos going on. Yo, 90s ghosts.
I mean, this is
my favorite MTV show.
This is early 2000s.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, if you think about it, old people like you are stuck in the time period that you remember.
That's true.
Unfortunately, you're 500 years old. So
I wonder
you're
what
stuck in
clothes.
the old-
I wonder what clothes I'm gonna die in. That I'm gonna get stuck in for all of
I know.
eternity.
A blue button-down shirt
That's
with
true.
a pair of
Yeah,
jeans.
I do
and
wear
a
that a
deep-
lot.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I'm not wasting money on a casket.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Wear your clothes. It's a must. How about that? Is that a thing?
They're gonna burn me.
That sounds. I'd do that.
Well, I'm gonna do a
but you're
funeral
still-
pyre at sea.
But you're still gonna be in whatever you die in, according to this show.
I told myself that however Osama bin Laden is let out into the world is how I want to go. So they're gonna float me out to sea with 6 Navy SEALs standing by.
Why would JLH not want to be on this show? I mean, come on.
I'm so sorry to Mason. Having to hear this.
Mason is our producer here today, and he's doing a fine job. He's keeping his hand on the ones and twos. So we get out to the. Everybody freaks out. Everybody runs out to the lake, right? Because they think that Natalie's going to drive her car into the lake or whatever. And we get there, and her dad shows up. Notice that the mother doesn't show up, by the way.
Because Melinda just called the dad.
Well, I'm just saying, mom probably should have been notified. But anyway, JLH, husband, dad, and mean dead ghost, they all show up at the lake. And Natalie's already in the water, and she is swimming her heart out, right? But what they figure out is she's not there to kill herself. She's there to complete the buoy touching.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I mean, that
Which is
makes
against the law in some counties, buoy touching.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But she does it. She swims her heart out. It's like the end of Rudy.
I think in some counties it's considered sexual harassment.
Sure, to touch a buoy. Yeah. Without consent.
Without consent, anyway.
She touches it 3 times too. I mean, that's rough. But she makes it.
Canceled.
She makes it to the buoy. She taps it 3 times, right? And her dead ghost is like, yeah. And then there's a montage of them getting ready for the Olympics. No, that doesn't happen. But everybody's happy because she did the thing finally, which didn't seem like much of a struggle, honestly, for something that they tried to do, and one of them died trying to do it. But
she was drunk doing it.
That's true. She was drunk, and she had just screwed the boyfriend. So, but anyway, this one does it. I have these are my these are my notes. Swimming to buoys. ... Made it and tapped 3 times. Then I have back to date, and this is when he gets a call from the ex that I talked about, blah, blah, blah. He's only been broken up for 3 months, by the way.
Okay.
So that's why he's not over. And then my next note says, wet girl, dad with Zoe, better late than never, forgive each other. So they finally forgive each other, right? One of them for screwing the boyfriend, one of them for not believing in her. And then her dad finally says, I always loved you as much as this one. Forgets her name, right? No, he doesn't. But that would be funny. Like, this one's just as good or whatever. But
that seems like something you would do as a dad.
But then I wrote down, they forgive each other. And then I wrote down the word poof, goes to light. So she sees the light. She walks into it, says, I love you, Dad. She says goodbye. She says, have a good life to her twin, and says, live it for both of us, which is so inspiring.
Yeah.
And then JLH looks at ever patient husband, says, what time is it? He says, it's 1 after midnight, which very convenient, by the way. But and she looks up at the stars and says, happy birthday, Grandma. And that's it. That's the end of season 1, episode 3 of Ghost Whisperer. By the way, just real quick. Yeah, thank you. By the way, real quick, JLH, if you would like to be on the show, which you need to be because we're going to keep doing it, the number is 254-300-7982, or you can drop by at 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas, or you can meet us at I was doing so well. Or you can email us at info@roguemedianetwork.com. JLH, please be on our show.
I have a quick closing question.
Yeah,
for
please
both of
do,
you.
man. Please.
So in the movie The Exorcist, when they exorcise the demon comes out of your mouth kind of thing, right? Well, would the exorcism have been as scary if they fart the demons out instead? Would have been as scary of a movie?
I think so. I mean, but then I think it's dependent on what you ate.
That's disgusting.
Right? I mean,
it's kind of like a sriracha ghost.
But what I'm saying is, like, when a woman's very, very pregnant and she's ready to give birth, they often say eat spicy foods, jog in a circle, whatever they tell them. So, I mean, farting a specific ghost out or a demon out, I would think would be dependent on what you eat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you eat a lot of cheese, you're probably not getting rid of that demon.
No, that demon's going nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You get backed up with demons. Cheese demons.
Tanya.
So anyway, JLH, please be on our show.
Why?
Allison, any parting comments for episode 3 of Jennifer Love Hewitt? Please be on our show.
Nope. Other than JLH better hurry up and come up on the show, because boy, oh boy,
that's
you're
what I'm
in
saying.
for a running for the rest of this.
It's getting a little weird. Once again, JLH, please be on our show, 254-300-7982 or 1129 Webster Avenue in Waco, Texas. Or you can email us at info@roguemedianetwork.com. Also, by the way, Jennifer Love Hewitt, we would love to have you on the show, but if anybody is out there and anybody's listening, if you're a ghost, you can contact us also. I mean, we would love to hear from people. Maybe tell us your favorite Jennifer Love Hewitt vehicle. Tell us why ghosts are okay to get in cars.
They still got to be safe, man. Come on.
Do you have to buckle a ghost? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Buckle up?
Do you have to buckle up a ghost? And is that a special safety belt? I don't know.
I mean, I don't think you can die after dying, but if you do, where do you go if you die after dying?
All right, that sounds like a Cher song.
It does.
Do you die after death, after death, after death?
That's good stuff. Yeah. All right, here's my last comment. If anybody from Hollywood is listening, which I'm assuming they all do, You should make that show where a ghost bites somebody and then somebody gets the power of a
Or
ghost.
you should make the movie where the exorcist is farted out.
Farted out. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, JLH, please be on our show. See ya.